hi animation. Do you see? I got my hand. It's like we're going to make it say hi by waving back and forth. And we're going to do that by using a new tool called the Asset Warp Tool, which is right there. And it's a really cool tool. So let's start. Okay, the first thing I did was draw my hand with a little brush tool. I know, it's a really nice hand, except for it has like little dents there. I'm not sure. Anyway. And then I came out like 12 or 13 frames, and I created a keyframe. So I just came out here, insert timeline, keyframe, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to have this hand wave back and forth. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that. In previous years, we'd literally have to just go and draw it frame by frame as it went back and forth. And that's not the best way to do it. I'll show you an easier way to do it, okay? So what I want to do is I'm going to create a series of tweens. So I want the hand to be here on this tween. On the next keyframe, I want the hand to be over here. Okay, so I'm going to create a keyframe for that. Insert timeline, keyframe. By the time that we get here, I want the hand to be back up here at the top. So insert timeline, keyframe. And then by the time we get here, I want the hand to be over here. So like it makes sense. We start at the top, the hand goes over, it goes up, it goes back, and then it creates this loop of waving, right? So I'm going to, from here, insert timeline, keyframe. All right. Oh, shoot. I messed up. This is good. This is a good, I didn't mess up. I did this on purpose because this is a great learning tool, right? Okay, so first thing you have to do is you need to actually use the Asset Warp Tool because I'm a fool. And on this thing, if you see this hand here, if I click on my drawing, now if you notice all those little dots, that means that it's a bitmap image, you know, so it's just like a photo. If I click, I can add little joints. So I'm going to add a joint here on the wrist and maybe in the middle of the hand. Just 3. Now I go, let's go real quick, insert timeline, keyframe. A little ways here, we're going to have it over here, so insert timeline, keyframe. Notice that every keyframe I have, those joints still stay. All right. Insert timeline, keyframe. All right, so I'm pretty much back, but I want to kind of equally space these out. So I'm going to click on this keyframe. Let's move that over. And it looks fairly spaced out. Okay, so we start at the top, which is where we want it. But on this one right here, I want to move this hand over, and look what it'll do. Do you see how the image, I can literally warp it around that joint. So I'm going to have it come over here. Let's move the wrist. And let's have it come like way over here. Okay? So from here to there to back up at top. And now here, we're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to move this guy over this way. Pretty far. Let's make it a really aggressive, obnoxious wave. You know how I'd like to do it. Okay? Now, that's it. So you can see there is our progressions of frames, just like that, right? Except we're going to tween it, so that way we can do the in-between. So I'm going to control-click and go to create classic tween. This is one of those rare instances where we're actually going to use a classic tween. And I'm going to classic tween between each one of them. Okay, and let's play. See what it looks like. Cool. Now, if I was unhappy, you know, maybe I want to slow that down a little bit more. We can take some of these out. Let's drag some of these keyframes out a little bit and kind of space out our animation. I want it to happen a little slower, not so aggressive. Notice my classic tweens will stay in space. We're all good. Let's see what it looks like now. There we go. Okay, so it's really, really helpful to use the Asset Warp tool to do lots of different things. If you think about it, you're bending the image around points. You can add more points to it if you want to have more control. So I could put a point at the end of each one of these fingertips. And then you can start moving the fingers independently of one another and then animating it, right? So think of all the creative things that you could do by being able to have this much control over a bitmap image, okay? You can have trees blowing in the wind. You could literally do walk cycles for cats or animals, you know, with the legs moving. You know, like animate the legs moving back and forth. There's so much to do with a warp tool. Okay, there we go.